Hello everyone, Soulflame here, playing on my Holy Priest, Sylvania. As always, a quick look at my glyphs and talents. It should be noted that due to the somewhat random nature of incoming damage during the healing mode, there's no single set way to do this correctly, so all of my advice will be more general, but I'll do my best to get you through each round. I've made a conscious decision not to use any major healing cooldowns during this video, but you can use yours in any round that's giving you trouble. Holy Priests have 3 chakras which act like stances. Each one improves a specific type of ability. You'll want Chakra Serenity, which improves your single target healing. Of special note when using Chakra Serenity is that your Holy Word Chastise attack becomes a powerful heal, Holy Word Serenity. All of the countdowns and warnings you'll see as the video progresses are provided by the Proving Grounds module of the DBM add-on. If you don't already have that, I suggest you get it. As a general rule, a lot of your healing will come from Renew. You'll want to have this always running on the tank and anyone else who has taken or you expect is about to take damage. You will also be getting a lot of mileage out of Holy Word Serenity. It's an instant cast spell, does a decent amount of healing, and places a buff that increases the critical strike chance of your heals on that target. Any damage you can do will really speed the round along and save you mana in the long run. Try to keep Shadow Word Pain rolling on all available targets and use Holy Fire on cooldown, but don't bother with Smite unless everyone's health is stable. On any round where you expect AoE damage, be sure to put Prayer of Mending on the tank. It should be noted that the free Prayer of Mending you get as a proc from one of your talents does not overlap with the one that you cast, so you should never be afraid to cast or refresh your Prayer of Mending just because the other one is active. Unlike most specs, Holy Priests do not have an interrupt or a silence, so your ability to prevent damage is somewhat limited. Your only real option is Psychic Scream, but it does have quite a few limitations. The cooldown is fairly long, the range is fairly short, and there are some mobs like the Aqualites that are just immune. Since you can't prevent damage, you'll spend a lot more time using your AoE heals than many other specs. Don't worry though, even in your single target chakra, you have very good AoE healing. Circle of Healing and Prayer of Healing will be your go-to AoE heals. Targeting becomes more nuanced when healing a raid, but for 5-man content, both spells effectively heal the entire party. Both of these spells heal for an amount roughly equal to half of basic heal, and both of them remain mana efficient as long as 3 or more members need the healing. That said, Circle takes about half the mana, so Prayer should only be used when Circle is on cooldown. Prayer of Mending, Cascade, and Binding Heal are also great for light AoE damage. Finally, don't overlook your single target spells, especially Renew, because you can usually get several casts off in between bursts.
3, 2, 1.
As a Holy Priest, your Power Word Shield isn't as powerful as the Disc Priest's is, but you will see some situational uses for it. Wave 4 features one such situation. If you have the Flame Caller targeted, you'll be able to see who he's targeting for his next Pyroblast. If you react quickly enough, you'll be able to pre-shield to take the brunt of that damage. Most other situational uses revolve around the fact that it's an instant cast spell. This makes it ideal for use while moving, or to stabilize someone's health bar while you need to buy yourself time to get off a heal. Although I don't actually use it during this video, keep in mind that your Mindbender doesn't just restore mana, it also deals damage, so you may wish to use it as a DPS cooldown. If the DPS manage to finish off all the enemies early, make use of the spare time in between waves to top everyone off.
1.
This wave throws something new at you, and that enemies will now spawn in the middle of the round. Although your utility is limited, you want to lock down the Hive Singer as best as you can. You also want to DPS it as much as possible without getting behind on your healing, because once the Flame Caller spawns in, he also does AoE damage, and it's very easy to get behind in your healing. Although I do manage to stabilize things using only the basic toolkit, this would have been a prime example of a great time to use Divine Hymn. Since there are fire puddles everywhere, now may be a good time to mention them. Although you can stay out of them, or move out of one if you find yourself in one, sometimes your teammates aren't so obliging. If one of your teammates, probably Suli, is in fact standing in a fire puddle, don't forget that you can use Leap of Faith to pull him out. Your other teammates might pass through a puddle when they move, but they shouldn't stand in it the way that Suli does.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Wave 6 throws another new mechanic at you in the form of dispelling a debuff. Aqua Bomb has a short countdown during which it can be dispelled. If the timer reaches 0, it will explode, dealing a high amount of damage to the target and anyone standing nearby. Naturally, you'll want to dispel this as quickly as you can. Wave 6 also features increased tank damage, which will slightly change your spell usage. As before, you're going to want to keep Renew rolling on the tank. Now, you're also going to use Power Word Serenity on him on cooldown, and you're also going to use Prayer of Mending on him on cooldown. If at any time his health gets low, generally less than 50%, you're going to throw Power Word Shield on him and switch from heal to flash heal. Because the final 3 rounds feature increased tank damage, now's a good time to mention another of your 3-minute cooldowns. Guardian Spirit increases all healing on the target by 60%, and also places a unique protection on the target. Any attack that would normally kill the target instead consumes the buff and places the target at 40% health. This buff lasts for 10 seconds and should be used if you think a target is in immediate danger of death, generally less than 10% health. Wave 7 generally has slightly lower tank damage than Wave 6 did, but the Flame Caller will put moderate bursts of damage out on a random target. All of the tips from the previous incarnations of these mobs still apply. Dispel quickly, DPS as much as you can, use your increased healing rotation on the tank, and when the Flame Caller spawns out, target him so you can pre-shield his targets. I didn't do a very good job of following that advice in this video, but trust me when I say that the better job of doing that you do, the easier the final few waves become. Now is as good a time as any to mention the importance of staying calm, as you may have noticed that several times in this video I've gotten behind on my healing. If this happens to you, just take a deep breath, adjust your spell usage, or use a cooldown and you'll get caught back up. Wave 8 brings it all together by throwing a little of everything at you. In general, the key to surviving this round is handling all of the heavy AoE damage. Since you can't prevent it as well as other classes, you're going to have a little bit of a different strategy. Dispel Aqua Bomb immediately, and put as much damage as you can into the Hive Singer so that it dies quickly. You're going to want to make liberal use of your many AoE healing options. Don't forget that you have a lot of them, including Circle of Healing, Prayer of Mending, Binding Heal, and Cascade. It's also perfectly viable and quite helpful to put a Renew on everyone in the party. You might also consider using a cooldown or two during this round. Lightwell generally acts as a safety net, putting an emergency heal on anyone whose health gets low. It's best cast early and often. Keep as much uptime on it as you can. Divine Hymn is a powerful spell that does a significant amount of healing to all party members at once. It's channeled though, so be sure not to move or you'll break the cast. It's very useful for getting caught back up if you're behind. If you used it early in round 5, it should be available again for round 8. Finally, don't underestimate the usefulness of Power Infusion. Although it's a minor cooldown, it greatly increases your throughput, and with only a 2-minute cooldown, it will be available often. If you have questions or comments, you can reach me through this YouTube channel or on my blog. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope this video helped you.